In my last Doom video, I said the following. Ignoring Doom Eternal haters, of course. I'm not interested in what they have to say, and neither should you. Whenever I say something like this, there's a tidal wave of people coming at me saying I'm blind to the game's flaws, and that id Software needs to listen to criticism. So I'll clarify what I'm talking about, as I've had to do before. When I talk about Doom Eternal haters, I'm not talking about people who express issues with the game. There's plenty of legitimate issues one can levy at it. Buggy master levels and no ability to save, buggy aspects of the Marauder's AI, DLC enemies that funnel you into limited options like spirits, bloodmakers, and stone imps, poor implementation of the purple goo in level 2, too much platforming in Doom Hunter Base and certain platforming sections like UAC Atlantica where you're just waiting for a crate to move, story elements like how the Betrayer was wasted and you wouldn't even know who he is without reading Doom 2016's lore pages, and how Samuel Hayden was changed and essentially became an exposition dump character. Invasion mode was promised and never delivered, a lot of people didn't care for battle mode and missed classic deathmatch, plenty prefer 2016's darker tone over Eternal's colorful arcadey feel. I get all of that, I agree with some of it. I may think Doom Eternal is the greatest first-person shooter ever made, but it doesn't mean I think it has zero flaws. If you're a fan of the game and you think it has flaws, I'm not talking about you. And if you're not a fan, but you can still recognize how well made it is, I'm not talking about you either. No, the haters I'm talking about are the hysterical people who think the game's design is terrible. People who think emphasized resource management was a bad direction to go in. People who posted images on Twitter of spinning fire poles and said it represented everything wrong with the game, and can't go one sentence without comparing it to Super Mario. People who think the game is trash. People who went out of their way to straight up lie about the game to support their awful opinions about it. People that think just because you have a flame belch that refills armor, that your playstyle creativity is somehow limited. People who moronically claim they are forced to target enemy weak points to kill them. People who complain about quick swapping meta when Doom 2016 had the same quick swap exploits but even worse, and Doom Eternal wasn't even designed or balanced around quick swapping at all, and it's entirely beatable and enjoyable without using it, as 99% of players don't know it exists when they pick up the game and just generally use everything in their arsenal. Doom Eternal is not a game that limits your creativity just because it has important systems to pay attention to. Most games have that. Doom 2016 didn't let new players play it as a cover shooter, and I didn't hear people complaining about being forced to play in an in-your-face playstyle. Doom Eternal allows for plenty of creativity and playstyle variation. Players who stay airborne with meat hook and ballista boosting versus more grounded playstyles. Full auto enthusiasts versus sticky bomb scrubs. Microwave beamers. Multi-falter stun lockers. Pure DPS power weapon punch swappers. Players who target weak points and those who completely ignore them. People who kill Cacodemons using sticky bombs and getting a glory kill, versus using the ballista to falter and meat hook super shotgun for the armor bonus. I'll repeat, inside its systems, there's a lot of ways to enjoy the game. And just because you should flame belch here and there to keep your armor up, and you can't just run around with one gun in an arena fight without having to chainsaw constantly as a consequence, does not mean that it's not letting you play creatively. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Look, if at the end of the day the game just wasn't for you, that's cool. But if you don't think Doom Eternal has a great combat system and awesome gameplay, then yes, I think you should absolutely be ignored, and I hope id Software never ever listens to what you have to say. I'm unapologetic about this. This isn't about compromise and listening to every dissenting voice. We're pushing for something here. We're pushing for player accountability and gameplay systems that mean something. I don't listen to Doom Eternal haters for the same reason I don't listen to people who think Resident Evil would be a better game if it had unlimited inventory space and checkpoints. I'm not interested in the opinions of people who think basketball limits their creativity because they feel pressured to pass the ball. If you want to shoot a bunch of free throws, grab a stack of quarters and head down to the Chuck E. Cheese. I'm sure you'll have a blast. So pick a side. Don't be afraid to simply say, no, I think you're wrong on this and I hope you don't get what you want. There's no halfway point compromising on this. If you believe in this kind of game design, advocate for it, and hope that those who are against it fail. There's plenty of other games they'll be happy with if they don't get their way.